Imagine you're a world leader, and you just got hit with a massive 7.5% tariff threat from your biggest trading partner. Most people in that position would immediately call a press conference, go on every news channel, and shout about how unfair it all is. That's exactly what the Trump administration and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick expected Canada to do, because that's the predictable script countries usually follow. They escalate rhetorically and then eventually concede structurally. But while Washington was waiting for the drama, Mark Carney and his team were doing something much quieter and much deadlier with a spreadsheet. This is the story of the 8-digit trap, and it's a masterclass in how technical precision can absolutely dismantle political theater. You see, when the U.S. announced that 17.5% headline figure, it sounded like an economic bomb. But Carney's team didn't look at the headline. They looked at the Harmonized System Codes. These are the 8-digit commodity classification codes used by the WTO and every customs authority on the planet. Over 72 hours, 2 8-person teams worked in shifts to disaggregate the U.S. announcement into its component parts. What they found was shocking. The massive tariff only actually applied in full to 23 export categories. For 67 other categories, the U.S. team had apparently missed their own prior legal guidance, existing treaty provisions, and specific carve-outs that already protected those goods. In the words of one Canadian official, the announcement was largely theater. By digging into the 8-digit codes, Canada proved that the political threat was much bigger than the operational reality. But they didn't stop there. Instead of showing their hand, Canada stayed silent for 6 days. While cable news was panicking, Carney was preparing a formal submission to the CUSMA dispute resolution mechanism. He didn't file it at a podium. He filed it quietly at 4:17 p.m. on a Friday. The genius of this move was that it shifted the fight from the terrain of political theater, where the U.S. had all the volume, to the terrain of treaty text, where precision is the only thing that matters. Because the legal challenge was so technically impeccable, it threatened to suspend the most damaging parts of the U.S. plan for 14 to 18 months while a panel reviewed it. Suddenly, the 90-day deadline Washington had set became completely moot. The political urgency was dead, buried under a mountain of 8-digit codes and legal footnotes. It was a move that left Washington strategists scrambling because you can't use maximalist threats against a legal panel that only cares about the wording of Article 3210. The lesson here is simple but profound. In a world of loud political moves, the most powerful response is often a quiet one. Canada proved that if you don't react to the pressure and instead respond to the facts, you can turn a trade war into a technicality.